All right, welcome back to the Wildly Painful podcast. I'm Jay.
I'm Nicole.
And we're back after a couple of weeks, I think, of not filming. So, yeah, we hope that you have missed us. All four of you.
Yes.
Yeah, so we've got... I don't know what number we're on, but we're here this week.
We're here, and sometimes the podcast happens even when we don't film it.
Yeah, exactly.
We have great conversations even when we just don't film it.
Yeah, exactly.
So we had a nice conversation on Wednesday that might feed into today.
Yeah.
But I also brought some things that I've been thinking about for my own experience to read to you and we can think about. Okay, so the first thing that I've been a little bit interested in is mind-body connection, this time with regard to the gut-brain.
Okay.
So, I've always been interested in the gut-brain because I thought it was fascinating and it like lined up with my experience. Like, I have had the experiences of like feeling anxious and then eating like a salad and calming down. Little things like that where I'm like, okay, like I can physiologically feel the gut-brain. But like a week ago, I saw one of those ads on Facebook for the like masterclass thing, and there was a class about the gut-brain connection, and one of the like specialists on there was like, okay, just like breathe in and breathe out, and he goes, and now you've changed the habitat of your microbiome, and it like lit up my excitement about it.
By breathing?
By breathing, mindfully.
Interesting.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
And it excited me because it was like allowing to be more conscious things that I think I've felt before where it can be instant. Like something about the gut and the brain it's going the other way. What am I trying to say? When I eat a salad and it calms me down, that's the gut then influencing maybe the brain. But if I'm consciously deciding to take a breath,
oh, right,
then the mind is now calming the body, so it's like going the other way.
Yes, it's like a symbiote, or they're connected.
Yeah.
So I don't have a lot of experience. Like I haven't looked into this a whole lot, but it is rather fascinating because there's, I think, a lot of research on this. They call it like the second brain, really.
Right.
And it's I think they say it even controls like your psychology a lot more than what happens within the brain, like in terms of like managing depression and anxiety and stuff. And a lot of it has to do, at the root cause anyway, have to do with your gut biome.
Man. Yeah.
Which I think is fascinating. And you know, when it first like kind of came out, like the studies, or at least when I first heard of it, that's when like there was this big blow up about probiotics and whatever, and all of that. And so I think there's like a market out there that kind of takes advantage of that type of research, you know, and may be a little exploitive in that regard, but I think that it's like still wildly unknown by most people, or at least we don't tend to take it as seriously, generally speaking, as a society or whatever, you know. I think it's largely overlooked. But,
it is.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
Isn't it so fascinating? Yeah, I haven't looked into it as much as I maybe should if I'm going to bring it up to talk about, but I bring it up because I had an experience yesterday, because that was in the back of my mind, what I just described, the like breathing thing and like how much more instant that connection is and two-way that connection was. And then my mom asked me for a favor, and for better or for worse, I didn't have it in me, but I said yes anyway. You know those moments when you say yes, but you really mean no, or you like don't. So, and in that moment, I felt my gut freak out, like become very, very, very agitated and alive.
like anxiety
Yeah,
or like
yeah, it felt, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. I don't know.
well,
Yeah, it just felt like it felt like a warm, stressed out feeling in the top of the gut.
yeah.
And I was like, oh, I chose in that moment against myself, like against my own peace or whatever, and then it like freaked out my whole system. Because then for the rest of the day I didn't calm back down. My meditation was horrible. I didn't sleep well. And then I was waking up stressed out and stuff, and then I had to go back and understand that it was because, you know, like I chose against myself. Like the better I can get at like catching it sooner and sooner or whatever. So anyway, now my body feels like crap, and that happened, and it has me thinking about like, okay, like that. Well, let me see. So what I was trying to bring in and talk about then was like, okay, like if you say yes when you really mean no, you're choosing fear instead of love. That would be my premise, and I would ask you if you agree.
If you say yes when you really mean no.
Yeah, if somebody asks you for something and you do it because you out of obligation or because you feel like you should, and you don't really mean yes, are you then going against what we're working on as spirits on the earth? Does that make sense? Like we're choosing fear over love. That'd be one of my philosophical questions.
Yeah. I think it means that there's a level of lacking in self respect in a way, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
But also I think that is the fear-based, I guess ultimately a fear-based type of like foundation to that type of thinking. I don't know. I mean, it's like one of those things that's like at play. Like, there's a lot of things I think that are at play when that happens. It's like also like the social conditioning and like the environment we're in. And yes, we don't, maybe people pleasing and stuff like that, which I think is all, at the back end of it, whether we're aware of it or not, there's some type of, fear of if you were to choose yourself, what that could mean. And then like, catastrophizing that in your mind just to the point where you don't even consider honoring yourself. You just automatically do the people-pleasing thing to avoid it, you know?
Right.
So yeah, definitely. I definitely think that that's what that could mean. And then if you know, and then if you say no and you create your boundaries, that's a form of like self-respect, or like that's honoring yourself, which I would say is a form of love. You're choosing love over fear, ultimately. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a total valid take on that.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things I came to say premise-wise is like, okay, like now I've been working a lot on meditation, and I've been working on a lot on staying connected with myself and self-concept and all sorts of shit lately, and I feel like I'm more attuned now, and now I'm more able to see that it fucking hurts the body. What my premise would be that I chose fear, and that I felt it hurt my body to choose fear. I felt it in the body, and then it caused all sorts of stress and secondary shit. And then my idea was, okay, so the body, among many other things, is this instrument we have to be able to detect if we're making choices that are aligned with ourselves, and the more in tune we are with our body, the better able we are to tell.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Sound good?
Yeah, it's like our little guidance system, you know, so like our physical sensations and what our gut tells us, and also like our emotions tied to when certain things happen, like they are all ultimately pointing us in a direction. They're telling us stuff, you know. They don't just exist to exist for the sake of it, you know.
So then the body feels better the more we choose ourselves.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, it sounds like selfish, but I think that if everybody was like found more ways to choose themselves, then naturally they would ultimately feel more comfortable giving of themselves in a way that actually builds them up and also effectively and like constructively builds up another person, you know, because it's like you're doing it out of self-respect and self-honor, and like ultimately you're sending that message out on like a energetic level, and that is felt and it is received, even though we can't, you know, perceive it with our eyes or whatever. Like there's a real difference that is made there, that I think is a lot more powerful than we tend to like, you know, give it credit for.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately, like just spirituality anyway, like our bodies want us to be selfish because it wants survival, and even spiritually speaking, like there's, I think a lot of people assume that like selflessness is always the way to go, but if you are harming yourself or if it's affecting you in a negative way to be selfless with somebody, then you're ultimately doing harm to yourself, you know, and that's not the spiritual way. The spiritual way is a self-empowerment. In a way, you must be selfish in order to empower yourself, you know.
Yeah.
So it's kind of fascinating to me, like at least in my own spiritual journey from like beginning to where it is now, which obviously it's going to be a forever ongoing thing, but like how I really felt like I had to kind of erase myself in my life and how I viewed myself in order to like reach, I guess, a certain form of enlightenment, which I don't really think of enlightenment anymore as a thing, but to then like slowly over years realizing my self-neglection is the anti-purpose, it's the complete opposite of why I'm here, you know, and I need to learn to see myself as something that's worthy of being here. And in order to do that, I need to like find my own worth. It has to come from me. And trying to erase myself or be as little as possible is hurting me. So why would that be my spiritual journey, to neglect myself in that way, you know? So it's like, it's interesting to see like the progression of it, and it's still kind of an unraveling process for me, right? It's still, you know, even though I feel like I've been learning this lesson over and over and over again for years. But I mean, that's fine. That's just, I think that's just the nature of it for my journey at least. But yeah, just something I've noticed.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I would completely concur with what you're saying, because like, you know, I've been sending you videos because I've been obsessed with near-death experiences this week. Like, I've been going back into that. Like, I have been many times before, but, like, I'm having another dive in.
Yeah.
And every time I watch one of those near-death experiences, a lot of stuff moves in me, and I start, like, I can feel it, like, reorganizing my priorities, right? And my understanding of the world. And I think that's a really good thing. But then I come back and like, let's say the lady that I sent you most recently, let's say one of them was about kindness. We've talked about like you don't always understand the ripple effect of like small kindnesses, and like, but then here I am coming back and into the world after watching a near-death experience, and then using that near-death experience to like guilt myself into being kind against myself. All I end up is stressed out and resentful.
Oh, right.
So yeah, so I completely agree that we have to be, there's no other way than to be selfish, because the principles and ideals that they're talking about are beautiful and they're real, and I believe our journey is to manifest as much as we can of those things. But the human experience must be somewhat about like, okay, but in the human experience, we have fucking limits. I'm so tired, so I'm really passionate about limits right now. We have fucking limits. So we have to not only manifest those qualities, but decide where they're best applied and how much they're best applied, and then sustain ourselves.
Right.
To be able to do it the next day or in the new circumstances. Like, so I don't know, like, the human experience is so, like, the spirit world has unlimited compassion, but, like, we can't have unlimited.
Right.
Well, that can't be the only thing that we're fucking doing, or we'll just die and waste away and be really resentful. It'll be impossible.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. So anyway, so that has me thinking about the difference between the spirit world, which is amazing, and where we ultimately live or whatever, but the human experience being so very different than that, and being maybe more about boundaries and limits and selfishness than like, I'm gonna give this person peace. No, I'm gonna like act in such a way, like you were saying, I'm gonna act in such a way that I feel fucking peaceful in my own soul.
Right.
Which is like, no, like saying no to like everybody and just doing exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just think it's so funny because sometimes I go, I'm still figuring out as a spirit how I'm moving here.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll go into this service mindset. And I think there's something really, really beautiful about and feeding myself about service, but something goes imbalanced about it, or egoic about it, or too far. I've had this happen many times, so I brought it. So
yeah,
isn't that interesting?
It is.
Fun.
It's very interesting. I think that like service oriented stuff. I mean, it all just like with anything, what it comes down to is what's powering our decisions and our actions, and like. So it's like your act of kindness was powered by the guilt you felt after watching that thing. It wasn't something that you just wanted to do because you thought it would fulfill you, and it happened to have a kind gesture attached to it. Do you know what I mean? So like
the intention behind it.
But it's like it's one of those things where it can be really difficult to get caught up in wanting to be a certain way for your self-growth. Like somewhere along the line, you kind of lose yourself because you attach more to the action that you're taking and less about what your intention is, Like, oh, I want to be more service-oriented because, maybe it starts out with like, oh, I think that's a spiritual way, and being spiritual like that or whatever, I feel like when I'm giving, I'm also receiving back. Like this is how the universe works. We're like, whatever. And then it starts to be like the purpose of it is no longer about spiritual growth, but it's about making sure that in order to give, you still receive. Like you kind of like slowly lose like the actual point of it in a way. Sometimes I think when it can be like taken too seriously.
Yeah.
And I just think at the end of the day, like, we're meant to be... I think ultimately we're meant to see our own worth, but in such a way that it leads to understanding the inherent worth of other people at the same level as our own, And so once we can get to that, then like the boundaries between people starts to be eliminated, and then it becomes like when you do something for yourself, you just have an understanding that you are serving them as well, like on some certain energetic level. Like there's always a service to something. I mean, obviously, unless you're like intentionally wanting to harm somebody, like that's obviously something that's not within the realm of what I'm talking about, like making decisions. I don't know. But like, yeah.
Can you say more about service at the same people at the same level as us? Because that's where I got a little bit lost. You said seeing the value in serving.
Yeah, so it's like, let me see if I can rephrase this or something, because I think that I think that there are people, and this is just an example, who, or there's a thought process where it's like, and I'm going to go off my own experience here, where it feels like, okay, I'm going to, I don't know where this is going.
That's okay.
Like, I'm going to serve other people at the cost of what I want, because it's a spiritual thing. But then I'm left out of the equation, and then it's like, oh, but I want to do what I want, and so if I'm saying I'm gonna do what I want, then I'm serving myself, and that is spiritual. And then, but I guess there's like a little form of nuance that I'm trying to address here. It's very difficult for me to express. Is that at the end of the day, our actions, whether they're for ourselves or for other people, they affect not only ourselves, they affect other people. But if we can find a self-empowerment, that we're sharing self-empowerment to other people, and therefore we can view things as, what I'm doing for myself, I'm also doing for you on some level. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, because it's like, it's interesting, because when I talk about being selfish and it being a selfish journey, which is true, but if it's powered by wanting to if it's powered by an understanding that other people have any less worth than you, or that what their needs are just not, as important as yours, just, like, then I think that's, well, I should say, being self-empowered at the cost. I've gotten too much in the weeds.
That's okay. I think this is good stuff coming out, though.
Yeah, but okay.
Yeah, I'm with you completely.
You are.
Yeah, keep going.
So I'm just saying that, like, there's a level of selfishness that puts your worth higher than other people's worth.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's also a level of selfishness that recognizes that you and I are one, and I'm serving myself for the sake of serving us both.
Boom.
Even though you can't see it or feel it, I know that this is what's going to serve me and honor me right now. And so I'm honoring the situation, and at some level, it will honor you too. Do you know what I mean?
100%. I think you fucking slayed that. No. That was beautiful.
Tumbled down a mountain on that.
That was beautiful, because you just described somebody living from an ego and somebody living from a spiritual perspective. Anything that's comparative, my understanding, too much Eckhart Tolle lately, but anything that's comparative is from the ego. Because we all are just like, we all have a non-comparative, we are all beings. So when you said, when there's a sense of this, or a sense of competition, or a sense of me being better, that's totally an ego-driven thing to me.
Right.
And then when you said, I'm doing this for me, but, like, I'm not better than you, you're not better than me. I'm doing this because it's what feels right inside me.
Right.
That then empowers you to, like, when you do something for you, to do it for you.
Right.
And then I'm not doing this to harm you. I'm not doing this to feel better than you.
Right.
I'm not doing this so that you feel inferior. I'm not doing anything to harm you, but I'm acting in my own, like, what feels right for me.
Right.
And I have every right to do that.
Yeah.
I have every right to, like, assume a leadership position above you. I have every right to buy a car or get a house that's bigger than this, not because I'm any better than you, but because I'm following some sort of internal locus of control. And then you should do the very fucking same thing.
Yes.
You should assume the biggest version of you. I want you to.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So you totally nailed it. I think it became really crystal clear that that's a very honest and spiritual way to live. And I had sent you that video from that lady who's like, when somebody does work on themselves and like allows them, chooses themselves, like you're saying, the quantum effects of that,
right,
even if the mind can't quite see it or whatever, watching somebody do that is really healthy for us, because then, or anybody just doing that on earth at all while we also live here at the same time, is healthy for us, because then somehow it's more likely that there's going to be we're going to have an easier time making those same choices, and we should.
Right, yes, absolutely.
We should, because we all came here to experience some sort of bigness, some sort of greatness,
yes,
in these various areas, and we should absolutely own those things.
Right, and I fully believe that if I didn't feel self-empowered to make an action that may be something that you, for example, didn't like, or it wasn't asking for me, I still think if I followed that, it's not me just making a selfish choice. It's me making a choice for the situation on a grander scale.
Boom.
It's a situational thing and not necessarily a personal thing, because why else would I feel empowered to want to follow that if it wasn't what the situation garnered or ultimately would benefit from? Like, and there might be some like a little turbulence while everything smooths out, but like in the grand scheme of things, it's all part of like the growth of everything involved.
Yes.
So, I think, exactly.
That's dope.
Yeah.
That's dope. Absolutely. Absolutely. So then, trying to stay uninvolved in the ego as much as possible. Like how do you then, okay, so you step into something very big or something, and you're doing it situationally because of following your own empowerment. Then how do you stay right there and not, okay, what am I trying? Now I'm trying to express something that's not all the way there yet, but it feels important. It feels like I've probably made decisions like that before, but then gotten trapped again in the mind.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but like getting trapped in terms of
now I'm afraid that I'm going to lose it. Or now I'm afraid that these people don't like me because I did this. Or now I'm afraid that these people are conspiring again. Does this make sense?
Yeah. It's like it tends to come with baggage that
you can make a decision from the best place, but then still get stuck again into those things. I don't know.
Yeah, this is just, it's like one of those things that you got to do that check-in that we were talking about, like taking stock, like you've got to find a conscious way of training your mind to just, whenever you're feeling those fears, it's got to just go under the microscope, or it just got put into check real quick.
Yeah.
You don't even need to spend so much time unraveling it, but like sometimes I'm like, the best outcome for me is when I'm able to just bully myself out of a feeling. It's like, quit being, like, why? Like, it's like, I gotta, like, be my own bully in a way.
Yeah, okay, yeah, good,
like,
good.
Someone like a strict parent talking to a child, like, that's kind of like...
That's it.
Yeah, for me, like, in certain situations, that's the best way for me. And other times, I have to sift through all the nuances of it and really get down to it with, like, little delicate fingers or something, but... I don't know. It's just one of those things where it takes conscious effort. I mean, this is that's my take at least. I mean, I'm not somebody who doesn't struggle with those things. I certainly do. So.
Yeah, no, it's just fascinating because like I envisioned that, and then when you step into, I just feel like I think everything you've said was interesting. It got me excited. And then I started thinking about, like stepping into like bigger versions or following that spiritual calling to like step into the empowerment. And nobody gets so freaked out as when you do that than the mind.
Right.
Because now you have maybe something to lose. or something. So this tug of war where you can make a decision all the way, but then that thing is like, oh, we better jump in now because now we have something to
lose.
Yeah, and it gets really attached to it or something.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also just a very vulnerable thing to do.
Oh my God, yeah.
And I think that we just naturally don't like vulnerability, like, you know, and so like all of the defense mechanisms kind of come up and find ways to talk ourselves out of it. And I mean, for me, that's just such a subconscious thing. Like, things just, I've got such like an army of army of people that are like, or whatever, beings that like refuse to let me do that. You know?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. I mean, refuse to let me, like, they kind of attack me when I'm trying to plan how I can be big or something, you know?
No, I haven't followed.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were saying you have systems in place or beings in place that prevent you from being big, or
yes, like
okay,
they're like attacking my dreams.
Yes.
Because
these mind constructs.
Yes, they don't. It's like they don't want me to be big or dream big, and I feel like this is kind of like we were talking about this, I think, in the first 5 episodes or something. Like,
yes.
You know, like it bleeds into kind of everything in a way.
Yeah, it does.
But
yes, I'm happy. Yeah, that you're saying this. I hope I didn't just interrupt when I said that.
No.
Okay, that's fucking. I have watched myself become emotional, and I have watched like the third eye or the mind or something make an imaginary person come and judge me for that emotion until it pushes it down.
Interesting.
And so I don't know, like, I'm just trying to put words around something. Yeah, because it's like, now the mind's like, let's rehearse the thing to like protect ourselves.
Right.
So when you're talking about things that prevent you from being big, you are going, what if I did like go do this? And then it's like, well, I'll conjure. Let me help you out.
Yeah.
I'm going to conjure an image of your worst nightmare that's realistic as fuck.
Yes.
And full body experience, and come and bully you out of it until you clench up and go scroll for 3. Yes!
Exactly, yes.
Okay, so...
Well, this will do, yeah. I'll just stay right here.
Right!
Things are fine after all.
Right!
Yeah. No, yeah, exactly. But see, and that's the thing. The imaginary person that you're conjuring up is literally just you. Because those judgments are not coming from anybody else. They've been generated by your own self.
Yes.
Right? Where else could they have come from? It's from your own imagination. You know, like it's like we're all just, all of every judgment that we think other people could have of us are literally just judgments that we have
about ourselves,
that we're projecting onto other people in order to justify it somehow, you know? And it's like,
oh, that's well said.
All we have to do is like, I guess, change our view of ourselves or something. I don't know how this could be solved, but like, it's just like,
yeah, like
it all comes from within our own minds and what we think.
Yeah.
You know, even though we watch people all day every day doing the things that we wish we could do, and we don't judge them like that, and you know, but for us there's just such a like volatility, like there's just such a like violence against it, you know? And it is. It's like, I think it is ultimately has to do with feeling vulnerable, putting ourselves out there, vulnerable to failure, and you know what all that could mean. And it's like, you know, even failure doesn't really matter all that much.
I know.
Like, and none of it really matters. It's just all within what we perceive.
I know.
Yeah.
This is so frustrating.
Yes, it is.
Because because I can tell you all day, Jay, when I'm having an emotion, this thing made me push it down. that sucks. If a person's feeling emotional, they should cry, or they should feel free to express it, or whatever the fuck they should do. Whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And we can talk about this all day, but something's happening lower than the conscious mind, and I'm getting panicked and scared. And so, how does one build the strength and the embodiment and the wisdom to go, that thing's gonna come up, stare it down, to be conscious enough and not just go into your default reaction? Because unfortunately, the default reaction is fucking trained as fuck. We're like, yes. Oh, the thing's there. It's so strong. It's so strong. So that's what's frustrating about it, is like, we can consciously talk about this, but I don't know how to stare the demon down in the face, because the demon doesn't show up in your yard and you can see it.
Right.
The demon freaks knows the right buttons to press in the right areas, and it's a habit pattern, and we're muscle reflexed, and before we know it, we're in the fetal position or whatever. Yeah. So it's happening. What I'm saying is, we don't get the opportunity to like confront it so realistically, like as I'm talking to you. Because if somebody came and threatened and bullied me, I'd probably be like, I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing, but like, get out.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you have some issue. Like, this is way more about you than me. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I guess I can't say that, because when you start to trust people, when you start to trust like maybe the wrong person, then that can totally do that. But anyway, so we don't, what I'm saying is we don't get the opportunity to confront it consciously. We're confronting it emotionally, and before we can get a grip on ourselves or the situation, it's run away with us. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, it's like a triggering and a cycling, and it's really fucking hard to get out of.
Right, because we trust it. We trust its input, as painful as it is. We trust its input as if it were ourselves, because it is ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so we take it for granted as a truth because it's coming from within our mind. But so I was researching this, kind of like this. I don't know. I was researching this.
Researching sounds good.
Yeah. So because I was trying to work through, like, when I do get stuck in those moments or have those hesitations or whatever, and like, why does it seem like some people can just freely just do things, like, I don't know, like, they just like have a personality that like brings them somewhere in life, or like there's you know, and I always talk myself out of just even having a personality sometimes. So the thing is like, so with me, there's an internal editor, which we're talking about, and like, so we'll have an idea, and we have to go through this internal editing process, which ultimately shuts us down. But people who like are successful, or confident or whatever, they don't have the gap between the thought of doing something and doing it is so like small.
Yes.
They don't have that. And so the thing to do is to slowly but surely find the times when you have something you want to do. Like, you have to try to find a way to identify that internal editor, and then slowly but surely just close the gap over time. Yeah. So it's like, no, I'm not going to mull over this. I wanted to do this. I'm just going to do it. Like, even if you go from having to think over something of it for a day, and then it only takes you half a day the next time or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Like,
decrease the window.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, you can condition yourself in that way to just act, and then that's how you get rid of those voices, I guess, that tell us that we shouldn't do something for one way or another. I mean, when I started thinking about the excuses I give myself to not do something, some of them are so fucking stupid. Yeah. It's like, once I'm able to, I'm like, I can't believe that stopped me from doing that. I know that's not, like, it could be the most smallest thing, but I will latch onto it, and it will just take the idea off the table. And it's so weird. Yeah. So I think a lot of it is, well, I mean, I mean, we weren't born as one of those people who doesn't have that internal editor. So we've got to like find ways to be more mindful and like what's really going on, like when we're not engaging with other things and we're sitting in our minds, what's really happening right there.
Yeah.
And we have to bring more conscious. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we have to learn to know ourselves more.
Yeah.
Like the autopilot, what is it?
Yeah.
You know, and try to redirect it just little by little, and then I mean, hopefully at some point before I fucking die, I could be like one of those people that can be free of this, you know?
Yeah, so. Good. I love that you broke that down because I was having like a parallel, like a similar related thought on my walk today where I've come back to this a few times where wanting to be some sort of like fitness instructor. Okay. And I'm saying it out loud. It's not comfortable for me to say because it's like vulnerable and I'm feeling aged and I'm feeling all these excuses and limits and all this shit. But I almost didn't even want to say it out loud. But but I've come, you know that I've come back to this a few times. Yeah. But I would need to, in that situation, I can fucking just go do it. I can fucking just try to figure out how to go do it, right? Yeah. But like, I realized that related to what you were saying about the gap, I was like, I would need to be present to catch doubt before it seeps in, because it would come before I took action. It would come during action. It would even become during. But like, I'm trying to create an experience where people move their bodies and like have fun. So the last thing we need is me being fucking insecure or doubting myself and it coming through in the experience. So my concentration has to be peak because I have trained the doubt muscle so fucking much and the insecurity muscle so fucking much that like it just takes, I guess, like you were saying, like a tremendous amount of concentration to just like trust the process and let it be what it is. And just like, anyways, these are, I don't know when and how this thing could happen, but I was like daydreaming about like working at Google and like at lunch, like teaching these classes to my coworkers so that we don't all go fucking insane, or you know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to iron out, these could just be daydreams or whatever, but like, I'm just trying to iron out where I see the bugs would be if these situations ever happened. And it's insecurity and doubt throughout the entire process, and then self-criticism. And it's crazy because like you were saying, like all of the like, you gotta be like this, you gotta be like that, you gotta be ooh. We would never do that to another fucking person. Right. That would be considered so neurotic. Right. And weird and just like, so it's so strange that just like self-asserting is so scary. Yeah. And being, I don't know, anyway, so similar to your closing the gap, I had like, somehow you'd have to concentrate and not let those things in and be aware of what they are when they're there, because they're so familiar to me that they almost blend in with, I don't know where I end and doubt and insecurity begin, and I'm just entertaining them all the goddamn time like they're my fucking friends. Exactly. So anyway, just thinking it out. Yeah. It's amazing how these things have blended in with our own voices or whatever, or like, or I'll be thinking about my ex and I'll be like wanting to be more understanding about some aspect of it. And I'm going, that sounded like my voice, but it's a voice that's trying to erase myself and my suffering and my hurt and stuff. But it sounded like my fucking voice and I almost believed it. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know when the voice gets corrupted by, when is it I'm still learning. Like, when is it the voice of like me? And then when are these other voices coming in to like self-erase or Well, I think the other voices are versions of ourselves that we've formulated along the ride, you know,
through past experiences, and they're trying to prepare us for the worst, and then they're trying to I don't know, like stuff like doubt and insecurity and stuff like that. Like this is like I was saying, it's a part of a learned part of ourselves to try to think that way in order to protect ourselves from something, likely from failure or feeling like we're not actually good enough for our dreams or something like that, and having to face that, or or the idea of facing that and not wanting to experience it, whatever. But like, the way that this is like kind of overcome is not necessarily eliminating the doubt and the insecurity, but seeing it for what it is, which is not truth, and doing the actions in spite of it, while doubtful and insecure. Like, that's how you break the spell.
Yeah.
Like, I think trying to get rid of those thoughts and feelings first is kind of backwards. I think that they don't. Like, we've got to like retrain ourselves.
No kidding.
Yeah, we've trained ourselves to be super safe.
Yeah.
And we have to then retrain ourselves to knowing that we are safe without them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that comes from doing things while doubtful and insecure, and it's fucking hard. But like the people that I'm talking about who don't have like that internal editor, or like it's a very small gap, I don't think that they necessarily live without doubt and insecurity. I just think that they have accepted it a little bit more as part of the process and not a deal breaker, like not a as a gatekeeping emotion or something.
Yeah, that's it.
They don't have. Their doubt and insecurity is overridden by their desire to do. And that's I think what it comes down to.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And so, I mean, those types of emotions, they can be really helpful for us, and they do serve us in certain scenarios. And I don't think that there's such thing as being a perfect human being. And I think if we are striving for a level of perfection of somebody who doesn't experience doubt or insecurity or anger or judgment of other people or judgment of ourselves, then like we're kind of removing our entire humanity away from us and why we're here. The point is to give it less power, to take our power back so that we can live with those feelings and still accomplish what we want to accomplish.
So good. So good.
Yeah, and I think it's really easy to get caught in the cycle of being like really beating ourselves up over the fact that we can be insecure, and in a way that is adding to the insecurity.
Fuck. Yeah.
It's like we're not serving ourselves here at all, even by vilifying our negative emotions,
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so savage. It's a good reminder. It's a good reminder because I felt that once you said that, I felt that I had been resisting, at least with what I was saying, but also maybe using them as an excuse or whatever. I felt some resistance to those emotions. But then that feeds them. That makes them
it's
somehow stronger.
Yeah. Well, because then it takes your energy away from the thing. It puts your energy more on them, From like you no longer are thinking about what you want to do. You're trying to battle something else on the side that was stopping you in the first place, and now you've given it all your attention. Like it now has your undivided attention, and therefore it becomes stronger.
Yeah.
It's like so interesting to talk about. I think.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's important to verbalize these things, because I think it's so easy to let this whole world, this whole life unfold at an emotional subconscious level, and you're just kind of along for the ride. That's how it feels for me sometimes. But then when we verbalize these things, sometimes it's pretty empowering because it kind of puts things back in their boxes.
Yeah.
Like where they should be.
Yes, and it's like, oh, I can look at this differently, and maybe, yeah, I can see a way out of this, like, whirlwind of emotions. If I can view it and put them in boxes, then it almost like, I think it's just reminding us, at least intellectually, at least, that we do have more control than we've been living.
Yeah. Yeah, because we don't always know what things are. So when you call them out, it makes it easier to be like, you are doubt.
Yes.
Or whatever. Life becomes easier when you identify them. We don't know sometimes when things are limiting us. We don't know sometimes when things are an excuse.
Yeah.
Or, we don't know which voices is which. I think then the more we verbalize and add awareness, the better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So good.
Yeah.
And I won't do too much excuses, but it is kind of hard to keep track because sometimes I'm like, sometimes I think I'm a little bit like a squirrel, like, piano, aerobics, this,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then these things are also hard to understand because sometimes it feels confusing to know what you truly want, which I think we've talked about before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Because if you want it one day and then you don't necessarily the next day, or you've lost your shine around it.
Yeah, but I think that, like, that can be a symptom of feeling like, or like feeling like whatever you choose has to be your entire path that leads to success. When I think that really, like, follow at any given moment what's going to bring you the most joy. And I was talking about the Bashar method or whatever. And one day that could be piano, and another day that could be doing the aerobics thing. Like that's how it all unfolds, is by just what the present moment is giving you.
Yes.
Because I think that sometimes, we're like, oh, I want to do this, and we think, well, is that where my success is going to come from, and how do I get to that success from this way? And then you've lost all your motivation. The joy is no longer there because you're trying to, like, project so far in the future. I do this all the time.
Me too. Fucking me too.
So
follow your heart in a moment.
Yeah, it just has to be. There's the only now is here, and why ruin it by trying to plan the rest of our lives with it? Just
have all the answers now.
Yeah, like just take in the joy that you want to feel and let it happen, and then things like unfold a lot more smoother that way, I think.
So savage, yeah. Yeah, I'm happy that we're talking about this. Mine is similar to the one you were describing. Mine is like, oh, okay, you want to do that? Okay, well, we have to do it exactly the right way, so here's the 90 ways that we have to, like, some sort of perfectionism, sucking the joy out of it and the spontaneity out of it and making me lose all interest in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or let me push it to the absolute extreme. Now I have to become the best fucking climber ever, or whatever the fuck it is, the new thing.
Yeah.
And then I get burnt out and I wonder why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these weird things with extremes, or having to know it all, or having to solve the whole 2 months from now thing in the now are just so strange. Strangely limiting of the spontaneous joy that's there now. Yeah,
like I think things are just meant to be experienced, just, I mean, not to be perfect at all. Like, because I think if you do something and you kind of get lost in doing it, whether it's creating something or doing a hobby, and you don't focus on perfection, then, and if it turns out different than what you thought was perfect, it's still a perfect experience. It was still, like, perfect in its own way. Like, we ruin things with this idea of what we think perfect is.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe we should try to redefine perfection as imperfection and just say, like, I'm excited that, like, try to be excited about stuff that we did that turned out maybe crappy or something.
I love it.
You know, I'm not, like, I don't want to like just the act of doing it was perfect.
Yes.
In and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I'm so happy that we're talking about this. I don't know how we got this whole thing, but I feel like it's really deeply rooted in me.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. Yeah, it's robs a lot of joy. But I was looking at my news outlet sends out a thing, and I don't always click it because it's every day they send a newsletter. But one day it was like, what your brain needs more than rest. I was like, okay, I'm interested. You piqued my interest, and it says, dedicated time where you force yourself not to have an outcome, because sometimes even things that we are supposed to be doing for joy, like piano or whatever we're doing, we try to get ourselves to have some sort of productivity project out of it. I don't know what this is, but this is in there for me really hard.
Yes.
So anyway, I like your proposal, which is like, we need to dedicate time to no outcome, no perfection. We need dedicated time where we unlearn this.
Yeah.
We unlearn this thinking that everything has to be solved and perfect and put in a fucking bento box for it to be productive. So, anyway, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. How you doing?
Good.
Okay.
Good, just letting it sit.
Yeah.
You?
Good.
Interesting topic?
Yeah. I think that went well.
Do you want to call it?
We're at an hour.
Oh.
Do you think?
Sure.
Is that enough? Yeah.
It felt like we just ran out of steam just right there. Maybe we should let that be.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for watching.
See you next time.